There we are. Hello and welcome. Let's straighten this out. There we go. That's better. More centered, I think. But hello, welcome. Here's our coming into being and our Wednesday daily or weekly, event of just taking that time for ourselves to connect in and to realign, deepen that connection, and just step away from all the fray for a minute and give ourselves that attention that we deserve, So if you're new, welcome. We just sit back and relax, and we will go in and see where we go. Hey, Wisdom Happy, good to see you. And if you're stopping by on YouTube, just say hello in the chat. It's always nice to see who's there. And on Instagram, I see you pop up, so that's good. And Lydia too, yay! Good to see you too. All right, so take some deep breaths. Fill up your lungs as much as you can. Hold that at the top, and then just release. Do that a couple times. Letting yourself relax a little bit more with each exhale. And then bringing your awareness to what you're sitting on. And just just be aware of your body and the object you're sitting on. Maybe there's layers, between the skin and the object itself. There might be clothes, there might be a blanket, there might be, who knows, whatever else. Just noticing all those layers there. Maybe noticing the heat. And Sydney on the other side. And just paying attention, just noticing what that feels like. If there's a texture, what is the texture like? Is it a hard seat? Is it soft? Do you sink into it? And breathing into that. Letting your awareness really sink into that. And see if you can differentiate between the different layers. The skin, so your body, and the texture. If it's clothes, that's right next to your skin, layer of clothing, notice that texture. Notice that sensation. Not your skin, but the clothing that's right against the skin. And then the other side of the clothing, that line of clothing, that layer, the seat that you're on. And notice what that feels like. How hard is it? How soft it is? Sinking into that. And even if it's soft, allowing yourself, and hard, just allowing yourself to really come into kind of sinking into that awareness right there. Relaxing into that. That's an easy way to ground yourself without having to drop all the way to the core of the earth. Get yourself more in your body, becoming aware of what you're sitting on, the feet on the floor, and coming back to what you're sitting on, and just go a little deeper with that. See if you can get a sense of, there's your weight. There's your body that's getting pulled down. And Melissa, hello, Melissa, good to see you. Feel your body just dropping down, getting pulled down by the gravity. So there's that downward movement in your body, especially when you bring your awareness down to what you're sitting on, then that's going to move it even more clearly down for you. And the resistance of the seat. And that resistance, that seat, just meeting you, so there's that downward movement of your body and then the seat, and it's just there. And you're pressing into it. That gravity is pressing you into that seat. And Carolina, hello. And just letting it really kind of be aware of that. Be aware of that downward pull. Let yourself sink into that. And if you are getting distracted from something in your environment, just take a nice deep breath in. Focus on that air coming into your lungs. Bring your awareness into that breath. Hold it. For count 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 if you want. And then exhale and dropping back down to what you're sitting on. And each time your mind just jumps out at something else or thought pops in, whatever, take a nice deep breath in. Hold it for a little bit. Exhale, come back into that awareness. Like you can even tell yourself, it's like, okay, no, let's let that go. Deep breath in, hold, exhale. It's like, all right, awareness on what I'm sitting on or lying down on. So you can guide yourself that way. And to make that guidance even more potent for yourself, you can say your name first. So it's like, Marianne, we can let that go right now. Then I take a deep breath, hold that breath. And then as I exhale, I say, oh, okay, Marianne, let's come down to that awareness on the seat. And it's okay if you're doing that every 2 seconds, okay? Sometimes the situation pops up and our mind is going like crazy. And it's going to be that often. As soon as you put your awareness down on what you're sitting on, boom, it goes right back up. So just keep doing that. Just come back. Just like, okay, no, we're going to let that go. Deep breath in, hold it. Ilaria, hello. Nice to see you here. Yes, our little CIB family here. And just keep doing that, because it's what's happening is you're needing to retrain yourself to not jump over in every direction. This is about coming into that stillness of mind, and sometimes it just takes effort, and that's that effort of just taking that breath in, holding it, focusing on your breath. I can also do the reverse of just exhaling out completely and just squeezing all the air, pushing all the air out as much as you can, all the way to the bottom until there's nothing left, and your breath kicks right back in, because it will, because that's on automatic. That's part of the automatic systems in your, unless, there's things like anxiety. But when you really focus on squeezing all the air out, your body is going to go, just like if you're underwater and you're holding your breath, holding your breath, holding your breath, and then it's like you need air, you get back up to the surface, and your breath comes right back in. So here's a little exercise for those of you who have a mind that has a really hard time quieting down. You count backwards from 10 to 1 and stay focused on every number, saying it, and without interruption. And if you are counting, it's like 10, 9, all of a sudden a thought pops up, you start over again at 10. Just to help you build that concentration and that focus for yourself. Really important. Really important. Because that will help you be in that place of staying in deeper stillness, more quiet for yourself with distractions on the outside. So it's training. You do that, you can do it, just do it every night, before you go to sleep. You could do it before you go to sleep, for example. Just do it. 10 back to 1. You start there. And really, really use that. It's like, okay, I'm going to stay focused on those numbers. When you feel yourself pulling off, no, come back. And you learn to feel. It's like, okay, no, you can feel yourself just starting to go into thoughts. Like, nope, you can feel those thoughts just floating around, just wanting to come in and activating your brain. Just kind of just become a thought. They're out here. They just want to come in, become a thought in your head. It's like, nope, nope. So it's discipline. And it can be really difficult to do, but it's discipline. It will really help you a lot to bring in that stillness. And when we're able to come into that stillness in our minds and in our bodies, and in holding our bodies in that stillness as well, it can go a lot deeper, get a lot clearer guidance. Think more clearly, just be undeterred, be able to just stand more steady for yourself. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right, then gently just drop your awareness down to the core of the earth. Okay. If you feel yourself in your head, there's somebody here. I think you know who you are, because it's a pretty constant state of being for yourself. So, Laurie, before I answer that question, what's your sense of that for your dog? So if you find yourself in your head, come down into your throat, because you're not on what you're sitting on, you're actually in your head. So it might feel like you're aware of what you were sitting on, but you're actually up here. So head, neck, shoulders, just feel your shoulders. If you need to touch yourself in that area because you're not connected enough with your body, then do that. In Ilaria, so that kind of pertains to you too, because I can remember you bringing up your dog before. Not necessarily on CIB, but your dog needing attention. So that can be, yeah. So there we go, asking for the ball under the bed. And then, that training to have you do it for him, because he can just not learning to wait. But dogs are kind of funny that way, aren't they? They're like, so they're sitting, you can teach them to sit there really quietly, and they kind of get fidgety, like little kids. But they can also be trained So I seem to recall that your dog is kind of a poodle or a poodle mix. Maybe not, but poodles are really intelligent dogs, so they can figure you out. And these so okay, so coming back to the head, shoulders, neck, shoulders, upper torso, lower ribs, hips. Yep, there we go. That one person in particular is starting to drop down better. What you're sitting on, thighs, knees, Maltese, yeah. I think they're pretty smart dogs too. And they were bred to really be paying attention to the person. Also, they were bred to be companion dogs, so they're even more tuned into the human, and so can be even better at manipulating you. Sorry, you know, but also very attentive. Lower legs, feet on the ground. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. So that person, I'm going to say this now just because to anchor this in, it's like that person who was in their heads. Maybe all of you, everybody here was feeling like they were really in that awareness on what they were sitting on. But there was somebody that was really showing up in their heads and a lot of distortion. And I was just seeing that, and then getting you to come down, slowly just dampen down those distortions and clear. It's not that they're completely gone, but really kind of lifted quite a bit. And let's drop down all the way again to the core of the earth. Take care. Oh, doodled of a doodled. Yeah, too smart for our own good, as I like to say. All the way down, core of the earth. And okay, the person who's in their head. All right, wisdom happy that this is you in particular. You're in your head, so you're a little bit better now, but you're just not focused very well on dropping into the core of the earth. Part of that is because there's a little bit of a habit for you of having it be done for you. So this is inadvertently. So it's like sometimes there's good work out there, and what happens is that the work is done for you, kind of, and you just come in and you just sit there and participate. But the problem is that at times it can just take people away from doing it for themselves, kind of thing, because there's this assumption. It's like, oh, well, that's getting taken care of, so I don't have to do it for myself. And that comes from a place of, when we're kids, when we're growing up, that's kind of the state we're in. Somebody else will take care of it for us. Or when we have been adults for our parents and been taking care of stuff, it's like we reach adulthood. We're grown-ups, age-wise, and we're like, you're so tired of taking care of other people. It's like, I want somebody else to do this for me. So it can be either of those scenarios. And to really become aware of that, because that can lead you into a lot of directions you don't want to go into, like codependency. because you got somebody else who steps up to the plate and is like, I'll take care of you, which is great. But then if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're just letting them do it all for you, if they do it all for you and don't let you do it for yourself, when you really should be, then that's codependency, and that's not good. So just some items to think about there. And it's hard coming from a place where we were adults for those who took care of us. Whether it's emotionally or physically or whatever it was. A lot of people have had that experience, and we get to a place where it's like I'm sick and tired of taking care of people. So we have to change that around. It's like, okay, we're so used to taking care of other people, we haven't learned to take care of ourselves. And so that grounding, doing it for yourself, is a way of taking care of yourself. So changing things around for yourself. So instead of putting that attention outwardly, you're turning it into yourself. And there's a lot of self-worth that starts coming up, or lack of, when we haven't been doing that for ourselves, when we've been doing it for other people. That comes up, and so it's really hard to do it for ourselves. Here, that resonates. Yes, the codependency pitfall after having been taken care of. Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm imagining your dog as you're talking. But yeah, no, that's and we don't realize that, because it feels really nice to have somebody take care of us. But it's a delicate balance, and needing to kind of push ourselves to, wait, I can do this for myself, and having, and if you're in that position of stepping up, taking care of other people, because there's somebody here on the call who can probably attest to this, currently, as adult, not necessarily family, but for people that they work for or people that they help with in whatever capacity, with their business, with their work, whatever, is knowing how to hold that space for a person and to guide them through the process of doing it for themselves. So standing at the sideline instead of doing it for them, and you can meet a lot of resistance from people doing that because they want you to do it for them. And some people will get pissed off, and some people will never talk to you again. That's okay. It's not worth the burden you put on yourself energetically at spirit level to drag them forward, to try to drag two people or however many people you're doing that with. So sit in that core of that earth. Yes, there we are. Everybody's just there. So that's good. It's kind of a grounding session here today. New moon, that's going to bring us right into the new moon theme, or the beginning of the theme. We're doing a new moon if you're on Sunday evening European time. So if you're interested, feel free to get in touch with me and say, yes, I'd like to join. It is a paid event, by donation, by a set donation, but just FYI. And we're going to get into that, taking care of ourselves, grounding, really connecting in, doing some deep nurturing of ourselves at all levels here, because it's been very intense. It kind of goes up, it's almost like it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's intense, calm, intense, calm, intense, calm. Also entangled with the savior identity. Yeah, so that plays right into that codependency thing, and that's kind of a typical scenario of what I was just so that what I was just describing, taking care of other people. You save them from, or the knight in shining armor. That's another one of those things that, scenarios that fall into that, taking care of others. And knew somebody who was in this relationship, and it's like everything was fine. She said while the relationship was, they weren't together for very long, but while they were together, it's like everything was going fine. They were getting along fine and everything. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he would just create a situation, get her upset, or she would get upset, so that he could step in and save her, because it wasn't happening otherwise. And he had to have that. I have savior. Yeah. So they're all kind of variations on a theme. So yeah, if you have one, you could have the other. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I'd be curious to see how that shows up in your astrology chart. That's gonna, not saying it isn't, but how that's showing up, that's interesting. Astrology, there's always two sides to the chart. So what's the flip side? What's the other version? And a lot of astrologers don't see that. They have a tendency to just read it one way, but an astrology chart can be read both ways. So deep breath into the core of the earth. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Dropping into that earth. Yeah. Let's do a little bit, a deeper alignment to self. Coming into that core alignment. It's like you've got that plumb line. It goes right down through you. That's dropping into the core of the earth. And that plumb line is like you've got a weight at the end of a string or something, and it just drops down. You've got that weight that pulls it down, that weight. So that line go right through you, and that weight is into the earth. And feel yourself pulled down. Yes, I tell you another little story about how astrology charts can be read two ways. So this was when I was in healing school, and the man who was the head of the school, he taught us a lot of Vedic knowledge on charts. So he was showing us how the charts were structured for Vedic astrology, which is a little bit different than Western astrology, but the same applies. And he had his chart up, and he said, okay, here we have 12th house, and this is going on. 12th house is the house of, it's known as the house of renunciation, but it's also a house of enlightenment, because you're renouncing the worldly level. So it's also known as house of enlightenment. And depending on what you get, and so he's pointing out his configurations. It's like, okay, here you have this, set up here and here. It could indicate, it's like somebody who's got there, it's like they're going to hit enlightenment, they're going to grow and expand, said, and you could also take that look at that same configuration, and you could see somebody who ends up in jail talking to themselves because they're talking to all these spirits that are hanging around them. And so completely different picture. So what is the flip side of that in your chart, Wisdom Happy? That's the question. So it's like a positive aspect and a negative aspect of how that chart can be read. Positive outcome, negative outcome, so to speak. Yeah, core of the earth. And The new moon is popping in. New moon is waiting for us. Yeah. Usually when I do my new moons, I do them before the new moon hits, because there's it's when it goes from the new to the full moon, there's kind of this growth of the moon, or it's seen as a growth period of the moon. So it's like before that period, just doing the new moon to like clear out, because then we're going into a growth space with the moon, having cleared out stuff. This time it's different, because it's been so heavy, and people really need to have that space of deep nurturing and deep reset, in a nurturing, rejuvenating way, that we're doing it after it starts, so that we're already in that growth space. So we're building on rejuvenating and refreshing and growing. So growing that, yeah. Just a nice steady session today. Just that space of just grounding, anchoring in, with a lot of good pieces coming up. Part of that savior identity comes from emptiness in the heart. So everybody, come in. Let's take a nice deep breath in, and come into that. Come into your heart space. Take a nice deep breath into that. I'll look at your question in a minute, Ilaria. Let's focus on the heart space and coming in that feeling, bringing ourselves into our heart space. Filling ourselves with ourselves here. Breathing ourselves into our heart space. Oh, yeah. So good. Clearing off some little layers there that shouldn't be there. So reach in deeper, Ilaria. Ilaria just put, well, that resonates relative to the heart space, or shut out heart space because of trauma. So just dive in deeper. Come into a deeper core, because that's just on top of that space. You feel that, you say, when you feel that stuff, you guys, just say, this is not me. And if you're having a hard time going in deeper, just acknowledge that for yourself. Since I'm having a hard time connecting in, I know this is not me, but I'm having a hard time getting through that. But I know I'm there. I know that at my core, I'm here. This is my space. Yeah. And there's layers. There might be layers to go through, and not just trauma, but, well, trauma, yeah, there's, I was about to say, not just trauma, emotional pain too, but that's a type of trauma. So just a shutting down that's happened. I've been struggling with my heart space. My heart has been physically hurting with the mental, emotional heartache. So let's rephrase that for you, because the way you've said it, now I'll read it again. My heart space has been physically hurting with the mental and emotional heartache. Okay. When I read that, I feel that I want to change the wording for you to loosen up the attachment that's showing up in the languaging. Um, so let's, so just keep, everybody just keep focusing on your heart space. And also I've been struggling with my heart space. So I'm gonna rephrase this for you, Melissa. I've been struggling with the pain that I've been noticing around my heart space. Okay, come back to this recording and listen to the difference. And I'll say both phrases right now. I've been struggling with my heart space. Okay, everybody, and I'm sure everybody, notice everybody how that feels. I've been struggling with my heart space. Ooh. And you kind of feel that heaviness that you're putting on yourself by saying that. So shifting, and that's okay. You know, we do this all the time because it shows where we are. So when you catch yourself with stuff like that, so let's rephrase it. So I've been struggling with the pain that I feel around my heart space. Yeah, that feels really different. Already by doing that, you create a separation between what you're feeling, which is not you, it's something you're experiencing. Which is not, when I say it's not you, it's not the real you. It's part of an experience that you have had, that you're creating, that you're recreating, that's coming up, and you're feeling in that area. And we won't go into all of the whys there, but when you say, I've been struggling with the pain that I feel around my heart space, there's the pain and there's your heart space. You've created that separation already by saying that. So it's really good exercise to do. My heart space has been, so let's take another nice deep breath into that. And with anybody who's feeling anything around their heart space, even if it's tension, even if it feels like it's physical tension, like there's just a tightening of the muscles, just notice that I feel that tightening around my heart space. And sadness is coming up that's in that area that you've got. So Lydia, so the sadness isn't coming up because you're focusing on your heart space. The sadness is coming up because you are focusing on your heart space and it's loosening it. It's bringing it to the surface. It's bringing it to your awareness. It's been sitting there for a long time. Just that you've been kind of busy elsewhere. But when you come into that, it's like, whoa, I can feel that. This is why it is so freaking hard, you guys, to come into yourself, to alignment to yourself, to come into being, because you start noticing all the stuff that you've been up here away from or further out from. You start to become aware of it. This is why it's so difficult. So good for you for hanging in there, doing it, feeling it. Breathe into that. Acknowledge that. It's like, yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that sadness coming in there. That's been frozen. It's been like the stuff that's been packed into your heart space, your chest, frozen. You know, something came up a long time ago, and all of a sudden it's just freeze up. That's for one. And then you don't feel it. You just keep moving. You come up here and you just keep moving. So here you are right now, just dropping into that. It's like, whoa, there it is, waiting for you to just show up with your awareness. So really good. My heart space has been physically hurting with mental and emotional heartache. You got a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff. So, I will say that it feels physical, but it's energetic. It's amazing how the energetic will feel like physical pain. So let's take a nice deep breath in, pull those frequencies up from the core of the earth into that heart space, hold it in there for a while, and then push it out on the exhale, just seeing that expand out and just that breath just expanding out. Yeah. I've been feeling it's been feeling like physical pain in my chest, in my heart, from the emotional and mental ache that's been sitting there that I've been holding on to. You know, and when you say it that way, it's like, okay, first of all, why am I holding on to this? What is this doing for me to hold on to this? How do I benefit? So this is a bizarre question to ask, but really good one to ask. How do I benefit? So I'll just take that example, but any situation where you're doing something is going on, feels like shit. It's like, how do I benefit from, so in this case, holding on to that mental, emotional hurt? How do I benefit from that? We learn to benefit because this goes back probably not to current moment, but to pattern from before, that if we held on to that pain, I'm just going to give a example scenario. If I hold on to this heartache and pain and don't show it, I will get taken care of. I will be fed. I will be clothed. My diaper will be changed. Fill in the blank, whatever it is. So yeah, struggling with the pain I feel around betrayal issues with my partner, but also with myself. Yeah, so exactly. How have you betrayed yourself? What frequency pattern is in me to attract betrayal from the external environment? Well, you're betraying yourself. You're not holding up for yourself. And 2 years ago, you were bringing up that issue with your partner. So 2 years, what, look at what you've been like thinking it's going to turn around, and hoping, that wanting to get taken care of, and so why this person? So we learn to betray ourselves because we learn to not just stand up for ourselves, and that's the way we betray ourselves. What I've understood is that I have betrayed my internal child. Yeah, so you said it yourself, but so good. And it's more than just betrayed your internal child. You just have betrayed yourself. I mean, the last thing you brought up, in that one message about seeing him get off the scooter with this other woman, it's like, well, she can have him because it's such a freaking mess. So for 2 years I've known you, and it's been part of that. Karen, hello, Karen. Kind of wrapping it up, but welcome for the remaining of time. So yeah, so let's take another reach down, drop down to the core of the earth again, awareness to the core of the earth. Sit there for a minute or a moment, and then on the next inhale, pull up with your breath as you're breathing, pull those frequencies up all the way through your body and into your heart space. Really bring it up and fill it. Expand, fill that, take as deep a breath as you can. Hold it as best as you can, as long as you can, a little bit longer if you're might be really hard because your lungs are so filled up. And then exhale and just feel that pushing out in all directions. And opening up that space, clearing out some stuff. Yeah, really good. It feels like that's kind of been a nice little relief. For people. Yeah, that was a nice little clearing there for the group. So very good. Yeah, and the grief and loss, when you realize, well, here in this case, betrayal, but, when you realize that you betrayed yourself, that grief and that loss of what you have kept yourself from for however long you've kept yourself from it because of that, you've betrayed yourself. It's like way back when, it's like, how long did it take me to get from that original experience, hold on to that, and go through all this shit that I didn't have to? All that time that you have lost, all of that time with yourself, time of having life that you wanted, time of having connection with a partner like you really wanted, as you've kept yourself from. So that's a lot of loss to face up to. Yeah. Okay, dropping down to the core of the earth again. Sit there for a moment. Really letting yourself sit there for a moment into the core of the earth. Yeah. A little preview there for so let yourself just be aware of that cage for a bit, Ilaria. And just notice that cage. Don't try to push it away. Just let yourself really feel that, knowing that this is, this is where you've kept yourself in, what you've kept yourself in, what you've been in. Ah, yeah. And as you sit there with yourself, you guys, with, feeling the stuff that you guys are feeling. So you guys are pulling up a lot of good stuff here in your awareness. The sadness, the loss, the betrayal, the being everybody else's savior, whatever. That cage. Just be aware of yourself. Come into that awareness of your physical being, your body, as you feel that. Notice all that stuff. Come into your physical body. Be aware of your, whatever area you want to be aware of. Notice that stuff, whatever it is, the cage. It's like, okay, that's not me. The loss, the sadness, it's like, that's not me. That's something I'm experiencing right now, but that's not me. Then come and feel your physical body. Create that separation. You don't even have to name it, Ilaria, just notice it. Just notice that it's there. Doesn't matter. It's got tons of stuff. Yeah, it's every little bar of that cage is something else. Just notice it. There it is. That's not me. Come into your body. Say, this is me. Even touch your body if you want. This is me. Feel that. Connect in to your physical body. I feel that sadness. That's not me. It's just something I'm experiencing in this moment that I've experienced before. Just an experience that I had. This is me. Come into your physical body. This is me. This physical body right here. This is you. There we go. Create that separation from this thing instead of saying, this is, oh my God, I feel sad. I've got this sadness. I mean, you know, sometimes we go through that because we're so caught up in that part of us, that identity of us that's holding on to that experience as that definition of who I am. And when you do say, when you feel that, you know, and you might be literally seeing a cage around you, seeing whatever's, feeling those emotions. You might be seeing that person's that's there, that's in your energy field, that's part connected to that experience. It's like, okay, there it is. That is not me. It isn't. It's not you. It's just this thing that's hanging out around you. That's all. Physical body. This is me. That creates a separation. It starts to pull it away from you. Separate out. Really good. Yeah. The cage as thoughts are thought. Well, the cage can be, it's just, it's the distortions. It's whatever's kept you in, you know. It's like a literal energetic structure that gets formed to like hold you in, to keep you from expanding. So it comes from your thoughts, it comes from beliefs, it comes from habits that you've picked up from other people that you're copying. Yeah, it's not you. That's bottom line. It's not, this is not me. It's just something I'm experiencing, something that I've been carrying, something that this is not me. Physical body, this is me. Yeah. So good job there. Okay, let's do it one more time. Drop it down to the core of the earth. Feeling that core of the earth, feeling yourself there. And then on the next inhale, coming up, filling your body, the whole body, filling your body, just fill up with those frequencies of the earth. That nurturance, that support, that rejuvenation. Yeah, real good. Very nice. Good job, everybody. Let's see. Haven't had to run out and pee for 5 times. Good for you. That's good. But I noticed that on many occasions I would be peeing like crazy and then get out of the session, be able to hold my bladder. So part of that, you know, we get a lot of reverse training, and what I mean by that is we get a lot of training to get stressed out by things that are actually good for us because they're so counter to what we are used to. If we're used to being abused, then something that isn't abusive will scare the bejesus out of us. And until we break from that pattern and realize it's like, oh no, this is actually good for me, and we are able to move towards it. So, and also the other thing that's coming up to say here with that comment is that what I was saying earlier about when you start to come into awareness of yourself and really be aware of you, and bringing, like what we're doing in the heart space, of bringing your awareness into that heart space, you start unthawing, bringing to the surface all the pain, all the suffering, all the places where you're not, all the hurt, all the people you're carrying, all the shit that you've got carrying in your system that shouldn't be in there. So that starts triggering, you know, like fear. It's like, whoa, it's the stuff here, just because you're really coming face to face. So as that clears out, that starts to become easier. So really good. Good job, everybody. So there we have it. Oh, nice long session here. Good clearing, getting us heading into our new moon on Sunday. A preview for Sunday here. Thank you so much for everything. I have to go now. Yes, we're going to end here. So thanks for showing up, Melissa. I appreciate your light, guidance, and teaching. So thank you. I'm glad it's helping you and supporting you in finding yourself and coming into yourself even more. So good for you for showing up for yourself too. Okay, and let's see, pop up my QR code if you feel like making a donation. On YouTube, it'll show up on the screen. On Instagram, just go to the link in the bio and then follow that too if you would like to make a donation, if you're inclined to. It's all good, whatever you choose. And next Wednesday, we'll be back again for another adventure into coming into being, right? and see where that takes us. So thank you all for stopping by, and see you next Wednesday or wherever else we meet up again in the ethers or on some other event. So take care, everybody.